This is a Datazen server installation guide, and in this guide we'll cover the basics of Datazen server installation and how to get you going once you get the server installed. So we'll cover server requirements, how to run the installer after you've installed, how to log into the Datazen control panel, and then how to create your first user, hub, and dashboard group, how to connect to a data source and create a data view, and then how to connect from a Datazen client and create a dashboard from the data view and publish it and view it. So to start off, I'll start with the requirements. If we go into datazen.com/docs, under installation guide here we have installation requirements, and if you go into this section here you'll see all the hardware requirements and including the software requirements. So basically you need Windows Server 2008 R2 64-bit or Windows Server 2012 or later. So we'll be installing on Windows Server 2012 or later. We'll be installing on Windows Server 2012. So these are basically the software requirements. You need Web Server IIS, you need ASP.NET 4.5, and the basics are outlined here. So I'm just going to remote desktop into our server here. And if you go just to add roles and features wizard, here you can check your requirements. And as long as you have IIS installed, Datazen server installer will install all the other required components. So having said that, what I like to do here is I usually like to go to the IIS manager before installing, just to see what is running there. And this is basically just a fresh install, so I will have the default website here, which I really don't need here. It's hogging port 80, and I want that's the default HTTP port, so I want to install Datazen there. So I'm just going to remove this default website so I can install Datazen there. So basically that's it. If you have IIS running and you know which port you're going to install the Datazen server, you are fine to just go and install it. So basically to start off you just run the installer, click on next, read the license agreement and click on next. And basically these are the components you need. Really, if you're just installing everything on a single server, which is usually good for up to 500 users, you need all of these components. You really want to pick and choose when you have a distributed environment, and you want to spread these out based on your requirements. But for a single server, just the default selection of all will do. This asks you how do you want to run your core service. Local system is usually fine in most cases. If you have some permissions issues or you want to run it as a domain user, you can choose the domain user here. You just have to keep in mind that they have to be a local admin in order to run this as a service. Now, this is the administrative user password, so make sure to select something that you will remember. Click next. Now, authentication mode. Here you can choose two authentication modes. One is Active Directory, and if you choose that, you just have to provide a single user who has read permissions on the entire directory, and Datazen will use this user for authenticating all other users. And here you provide the domain name, so it's exactly as what's specified in the Active Directory in the LDAP, so it's usually something.local. Server name and the port and the username used by Datazen. The default authentication mode is quick to set up. Basically, you invite users just based on their email addresses, and then they choose their password Datazen through the Datazen server. So I'll just choose this because it's the easier option. Now here you're giving your encryption key which you'll want to copy and paste somewhere in case you lose all your content and you need to restore from backup. And this is also an instance ID. This you also want to copy and paste. This probably is not really useful unless you have a distributed environment and you want multiple servers talking to each other, but it doesn't hurt to copy it down. Now, running the data acquisition service as something, this is perhaps more useful because the data acquisition services, which runs all the data updates, so you may want to run it as a special user who has access to something, and you can always just choose local system and just go to the Windows service, data acquisition service. It's an actual Windows service that runs in Windows, and just change as which user it runs. If you're running a domain user, you have to have a local admin. So, sorry, this setting was just the default port where we want the web service to run. This is the port where all client communication takes place. So this is just HTTP port 80, which is the default port. And this is SMTP. If you're using Datazen can send email notifications to users, and those notifications are sent via email. And this is where you can provide the account where these are sent. So basically, you just click on Next and install, and the installer is going to go through its steps and configure the installation. So once the server is complete with the installation, you'll see the screen. You can click on Finish, and basically you have set up, the server is installed. Now, to configure everything and anything, where you need to go is to the Datazen control panel, which is the administrative interface to Datazen. So basically, I'm right here on the server, so I can just go to localhost/cp. So you always go to the server address /cp to get the control panel, which is the administrative interface to Datazen. And here I will log in as admin with the password I chose. So basically now I've logged in as admin or administrator, and there's a few things I need to do once I log in here. So first, what I want to do is create a user, any user, and I'll create one for myself. And these are the only mandatory requirements. So once I create a user, I can click on Done, and once I have at least one user, I can create a BI hub. As we mentioned in the server overview video, the purpose of BI hubs is to have all content within a single hub. And you can have multiple hubs. They're really handy if you have multiple clients in the same server and you want to have them not share any data or information or have separate branding. But you always need at least one hub. So we'll create the hub here. We'll just call it sales, make myself the owner, and say 20 users. This is just for internal auditing. Click on create. The hub is created. Now here in the list of hubs, now I see our hub, and we'll see the hub menu below here. With this hub menu, we can do a lot of things. For example, we can go to dashboard. This is where we can create dashboard groups, where we can organize our dashboards and keep them. And you always want to create at least one group so you can publish dashboards to this group. If you don't have any groups, you won't be able to publish any dashboards here, so it's good to create one at least. Under users, this is where you can invite users to the hub. Now keep in mind, when you add server users, you first need to add users to the server, and then you need to add them to the hub as well. And here also this is where you can make them publishers or owners. And another neat little trick is if you don't have your SMTP server configured for outgoing emails, where users can get their links for setting password, you can always click here on set this password link and just copy it and paste it into your browser or send it in an email to someone where they can choose to set their password. So here I'll just choose a password for my user and click on activate my account. And basically now when I log in, you see that because I'm the hub owner, I have the hub menu here, but I don't have the server menu at the top, which is fine for what I want to do now. What I want to do now is add a data source. So I'll click here on data sources and go to new data connection, and I will add a SQL Server data source. So we'll paste here the server details and the login. This is the initial database, the user, and the password. Give it a name. And we always want to test the connection first. Successful, excellent. Give access to everybody for now. And we've successfully created our data source. So our sample DB data source is here. Now we want to click inside here, and once we're taken inside here, we can create data views. Now this is a SQL Server relational database, so we'll just create. It's a SQL view. So we'll just paste some SQL here, which hopefully gets us some data. This is fine. So we have our view here. So right now we've set up a hub, a user, a dashboard group, and a data source with a data view. So let's go now and connect to our server from our client. So to do this, I will go into the Datazen client. This is the publisher. And I will click here on connect or connected and click on add new server connection. And the server address and username. I will uncheck use secure connection. A secure connection is used only when you have a valid SSL certificate installed and you have HTTPS configured on port 443. And it can be a self-signed certificate. It has to be issued by a valid signing authority. So I've connected to the server, and now what I want to do is create a dashboard. So first I'll go to the data view, and let's see if I can add a data from my server data source. This is my server. This is the sample DB data connection, and this is the view that we imported. So excellent. We have access here. I will go and just create a simple dashboard, maybe just a time navigator, and maybe just a category chart here, where we'll go to the data view, connect it quickly. So that's it. And finally, when you want to, we can save it locally. We can, but we also want to publish to the server. So yeah, let's first give it a proper title. Publish to server. Now the reason why you can't configure any of these is because that's where our data source comes from, so we have to publish it to that server and that hub. So it is published, and finally what we want to do is, well, first let's go back to the server, go to dashboards, and we see our dashboard is here. But also what we can do is go into the server, but instead of CP, we want to go to the viewer, or just basically go to the server, the default server address. And basically this is the HTML5 viewer, which provides HTML5 versions of the dashboards. So we want to log in here to see our dashboard. And again, we'll see it here, and you can load it, and again, it'll work just as with any dashboard. So basically that's it. Those are all that's everything I've had for this video. So everything from installation to how to set up the initial environment and how to publish a dashboard with your data source.